Well, obviously, I'm disappointed. First games back after break oftentimes come down to the more hooked up, the more ready team, and I think clearly that tonight, there today, that was Norfolk. They were more connected. They were more together. They were just more solid on both ends of the floor. They executed their plan better than us. They're tremendous on the offensive side of the ball. They execute their stuff at a high level. Guys really understand roles, and we knew that coming in. We knew it was going to be tough. I think, more really. I hate to say that we thought we had a pretty solid plan for them. We really let them split way too often. I think the fact that they had a couple of non-shooters kick threes in early spread us out a little bit. Rather than staying true to what we do, we got spread out, and he really filleted us. He snaked some middle pick and rolls and just lived in the paint, was way too comfortable. Again, that's a credit to Norfolk State. They were the more hooked up team. They were the more ready team. We knew this was a hard game when we scheduled it. We thought it'd be a great test. Prior to the conference season, that was before the Big South told us we were going to play. The schedule we did for the first week, which is a really tough week, playing Asheville on 1 day's rest when they get 2 weeks off. But that's part of it. You got to play the games you're scheduled. They were better than us. I'm disappointed because you get a technical for shooting an arrow or whatever the heck he did that everybody does in every made three. I didn't like it, but ended up being the difference in the game. Maybe we had 3 times we stepped out of bounds. We missed 2 dunks. We missed another number of other layups. And then we just we got to get better with our vertical walls. We thought we went pretty up and down on a few of those, and they told us they were A to B vertical walls, so we got to get a little better in that area as well because we put them on the foul line just way too often. And I thought we did a better job on the glass today. That's kind of Norfolk's one weakness is they don't rebound the ball on either end, and without that we would have been in a world of trouble because their matchup zone was, they'd never used it for more than 10 or 12 possessions and a half. Today they stayed in it the entire game, and they found some success, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It kept us out of the paint. I think we only made 1 2-point field goal in the first half, which is not our MO. And so again, it's a credit to them. They had a better plan than us. They executed that plan better, and they were the better team today.
Did you expect it to come down to you having to rely on threes that much?
Well, no. We wanted to continue to touch the paint, but they just, you could see when you give, they were pretty much sold out to stopping the drive, and then they really kept us from getting anything around the basket. They overhelp on some drives. Or what they don't play drives the way most people do. They'll commit 2 and 3 bodies. So oftentimes, what's left is you got to make a perimeter jump shot, and then you got to try to make them pay on the glass. Aside from the turnovers, just the silly turnovers that were really unforced, and like I said, we missed, I don't know, probably 15, 18 points on just if we could just concentrate and make a layup and a dunk. Aside from that, the offense was fine. I was disappointed with the defense because when you guard Norfolk, it kind of comes down to 3 areas, and I didn't think we were particularly sound in any of them. The first one's guard in transition. The second one is they're very deliberate. They run a set play almost every single time down, and they got us on some of those. And then the last one is like when things break down, Ings and Moore are going to drive the basketball those right hands. Even though Ings is technically a lefty, he wants to get to his right hand. We knew that. We talked about shrinking the floor and trying to make him see multiple bodies in those situations. And for whatever reason, we just had a hard time actually executing the plan. So that was disappointing because it's not like they hit us with a big curveball. The matchup zone for an extended period of time bothered us, but what they did offensively against us was precisely what they'd done all season. And for them to be able to do exactly what they've done all season, even though it's really effective and they're a very efficient offense, it's disappointing. You want to make somebody do something a little different.
Kind of to that same point, how much was spacing an issue? It seems as though no matter how tight you guys got, Matt kept yelling tight, tight, tight. they still found lanes. How much was that an issue?
I think that was the game. I think it was not an issue. I think it was the issue. At the end of the day, you can reduce it really to that. It's can you at the end of the day make him give the basketball up? He's such a long strider that even on film, I don't know if it translated. He takes those long steps, and he's so good at playing off of Euros and over the tops and a lot of things that guards don't really do at this level a ton. But he's so good at it. And then, on top of it, he makes us pay. He ends up with 6 assists and 33 points. Obviously, he was the difference in the game. He was the best guard on the floor, best player on the floor today.
Not your very last possession on the Hail Mary in the last second, but the one before that, Hildebrand wound up with the ball. That just a matter of
that was a counter to
whoever gets the ball.
No, we were running a play. They switched 5 the time before. They made a good defensive play. I need to rewatch it. We were trying to run a play that we've run a few times in the past, and we were trying to run the counter to it, which is Chase curling and then Simon popping off of it. They did a nice job of staying attached. I really thought we'd catch him sleeping, and we get Simon a step in when we didn't. We didn't execute it very well. Again, we didn't execute anything tonight. So that was kind of the difference in the game. I thought they executed their ATOs better than we executed ours, and that was certainly another example of that.
What's your group's biggest opportunity heading into conference play?
I like your word opportunity. I might have chosen obstacle given my current mindset. Hopefully this wakes us up. I mean, as a staff, I think we knew what this game was when we scheduled it. We knew that this was just going to be like we kind of talked about it being like a 19th conference game, or what do we play? A 17th conference game, I should say. And so we thought this would, sometimes when you come back and you play a non-1 or something like that, then conference hits you in the face. We kind of felt like, let's get back and let's play a tough one. It'll help us. It'll help us in the long run. Playing a couple of tight games. We're in such a weird place because we got really, you probably could tell it today, but we finally started developing a little bit of a routine and some with our substitution patterns. We had been so banged up, and then Bobby twisted his ankle 2 days ago and couldn't walk, and he tried to run out there a little bit today, but he couldn't move. And so we were kind of back without him all of a sudden, and then the rotations weren't very good. And guys, we're just not very cohesive or comfortable yet in our rotations. I think our biggest opportunity, your word, right now is to grow. We're in a place because of where we've been from an injury standpoint. We're in a place where there's a lot of room for growth. We're not very cohesive on either end right now. I think you compare this to where we were a season ago, even though we were all new. We really knew where we were going at this point, both from a substitution standpoint, and from a just kind of what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor. And we're still trying to figure it out. Like, when we get in certain lineups, who guards the best player, who guards the second best player, and just kind of getting to know each other a little bit better. Like, because we've had really Simon, Terry, and Bobby, all 3 of those guys, and Keza for that matter, missed time too. All those guys pretty much missed the whole fall, all 3 of them. And so we had other guys filling those roles, and now we're trying to kind of backfill. And I feel like we're in a place right now from a cohesiveness standpoint and like a continuity standpoint. I feel like we're where you should be after a first or second game. And I don't mean that as an excuse. Like, we've got plenty of talent. We should still be winning. But that's just the way it feels. We're not we're missing guys when they're open still. We're not covering up mistakes defensively like we need to. Like, we're just not quite there. And that piece of it's a little bit disappointing. So, we got some work to do, and I like your word. We got opportunities here. We got opportunities, and when you're playing a week like this, like we're going to turn around and have to play Radford on Thursday, who's playing terrific basketball right now, and then you turn around on one day's rest to play at Asheville, who's been sitting around. I think they started scouting us right when they got back to campus, whenever that was, a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So it's going to be a heck of a week for us, it's an opportunity for us to show that we've grown a little bit. And, if we don't, then it'll be a long week for us. We could easily be in a really tough spot after this week. So, we'll see. We'll see what we're made of. We'll see if we're able to kind of pop back and learn from it.
If the layoff for not being focused today, is that part of the reason for the struggles at the free throw line?
Yeah, we struggled at Southern Illinois too. I mean, the tough thing is some of the guys, like Bodo's not traditionally been a very good free throw shooter, but you look at some of the other guys, like Kamani's been an 80% guy, roughly. I mean, he was 9 for 12, but Bobby obviously couldn't get up on his toe today, and I'll give him a little bit of a pass. We just weren't, like, we were just a step off on everything, really. We just, I don't know if it was just necessarily, if it was free throws, we were just a step off. Kamani and Bodo shouldn't probably miss wide open dunks, either. I mean, it's just being a little bit out of sync. And again, these games like this, I really thought in my mind when we scheduled it, I thought, you know what, like, this is a team that's supposed to win their league. They're really well coached. They're going to beat some people. Like, we're going to come back from Christmas and this will get their attention. And unfortunately, I don't think I did. I don't think I got their attention quite like I needed to. And we're sitting there down 7 or 9 points, whatever it was, before we really were like, okay, if we don't go here, this is going to get embarrassing. And unfortunately, I told the staff after watching the warm up, I felt like we were cruising for that. Like, we just, again, I go back to that. The most hooked up team wins these games, right? They just do. And the game before Christmas, we were the most hooked up team. But as is often the case, we went home. Everybody told us how good we were. We came back and we forgot why we played well at Southern Illinois. And today we were the less hooked up team. It was pretty obvious, just in every facet.
Good. Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.